Alright, what is going on, guys? It is Benny, and today we are going to be playing hands down the best Mortar deck this season, and we are currently really close to the top 1000, so we are going to have some amazing high-level gameplay here as we almost mess up that Ice Wizard on the Skeleton Barrel. So I'm going to try to include some replays in this as well, just because I feel like as we're closer to the top 1000, you know, that's when matches start to get very technical, and that's where you can learn a lot of the skill for a deck. So this guy, because he played the Mother Witch there, I didn't really have the greatest counter, so I had to go for the defensive Mortar, which is actually really unfortunate. So I think to cycle, I'm going to just play my Goblin Gang here to the right, and the whole strategy of what I'm going for here is I'm just going to play very slow. You know, I'm not going to go super aggressive off at the start because I need to kind of figure out what's going on. I need to figure out what this guy's working with, and then I'll, you know, go from there. Him playing that Tornado though was a little bit aggressive, although I guess he did get the hit on the tower. Because he played the Goblin Hut there and the Mortar got a hit on it, as well as having the Skeleton Barrel there, I will play my Skeleton King. It's just the right card to cycle in this situation. And then I think I'll go for the Mortar here now, just because we have a bit of support for it, and we have the Skeleton King ability charged up. He has Recruits. Okay, I wasn't expecting that actually. So I'll pop the Skeleton King ability there just because it's always going to be really good value. And then I can play the Ice Wizard right here. And let's wait and see if he tries to catch us off guard with like a fireball or something. But right now I'm actually feeling pretty good about this. That Mother Witch is going to be pretty annoying, so I will get my cannon cart down here. And then maybe I might be able to get away with like an aggressive Skeleton Barrel here. Actually, I think I'm going to go for that here. But then I'm going to chill out. I don't want to go super aggressive or anything. That's kind of, you know, the most that I want to play here. The Spirit Empress is not going to get any damage, and we will get the cannon cart on the tower, which is huge. I'm not going to overextend or anything. That's amazing damage, and so I'm going to chill out there. And then, okay, what do I want to do from here? I guess let's go for the Evil Mortar on this side, just because that's going to be amazing. But I'm wondering if this guy gave up. Holy crap, I think this is actually going to put us in the top 1000 or just outside of it. So I'm glad that we got this win here. Let's give him a good game. Let's give him a good luck, and let's go on into the next match. Alright, you guys, we got our next matchup, and I do have to say, you know, no matter what, I'm going to be posting my losses in this video. So, you know, I kind of have to wear that with pride a little bit because I'm trying to change that. This guy's going to go for a Goblin Giant, and he has Chef, which is honestly something I'm not looking forward to being against here. I'll have the bats there. Let's get the Skeleton King down here as well, just to kind of help tank for a second. And then if every time I see Chef and I see Goblin Giant, I know there's going to be a Pekka. So I'm not going to really. Ooh, I'm tempted. Okay, this is honestly really risky. Okay, that was a little bit interesting. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Ooh, okay, he's gonna go for the curse, but it's not going to stop it from getting a bunch of damage. The curse is a bit of a tough part of this matchup, though, I won't lie, just because that is our best way to kind of pull. So I think we do have to keep the pressure up on this guy. I think that's going to be really, really important, but this is totally a more difficult matchup than really anything else I could be against. The only thing that I would find more difficult than this would be a E-Golem deck that's using E-Drag. Let's get the Skeleton King here because that'll help out with the goblins behind, and so we can defend that. And then again, I don't want to go super aggressive into. Okay, you know what? Actually, I am going to go super aggressive into this. I'm going to get the Skeleton Barrel down in there, and then let's pop the Skeleton King ability here just because we will get that close to the tower. So at the very least, we can take out those guards there and get them a bit lower. Now I'll go for the Ice Wizard here to defend this, but I have to be very careful now because that was a lot of elixir that we just put into that, and I don't want to get punished, so I'm going to kind of chill out here. I do have the Evil Mortar, so I can go for that in the opposite lane if he tries to build up a push in the back. Okay, he's going to go for the Goblin Giant. Let's cycle our bats really quite early, and then I'll go for the cannon cart here because then if he goes for a lightning, then that will pull the Goblin Giant, and we get the Skeleton King down just in time, which is really good. There's the lightning, so he kind of, that was smart of him to wait for it. Let's go for the Evil Skelly Barrel here, and then let's get a Goblin Gang down, and now I'm going to go ahead and play the Evil Mortar as well, because he does have to deal with those skeletons. So that worked out well. We do have the Mortar lock, I think, here. We'll get the Skeleton King down so that the Goblin Curse doesn't take out our Mortar. And I think that is going to be towered down. So I'm just going to hold on to my elixir. Maybe I'll play the bats behind this so that, you know, it's a little bit more annoying for him to deal with and have a counter push. And because he used his lightning, I can cycle my Ice Wizard right here. Skeleton King is going in quite aggressive there. He's going to have to go for something really aggressive here, but I think we're going to get the 3 crown. Oh my gosh, we are just crushing people in top ladder right now. Let's give him a good game, give him a good luck, and go on into the next one. Alright guys, next matchup. Now this guy has Dagger Duchess, and that always makes me think about Sparky, so I do need to be careful. I think the one matchup we're playing the Mortar first play. Oh, okay, never mind. I completely I completely lied there. He's running Recruits. I think we match up decently well against Recruits. It can be very difficult to win if it's a Recruits version that uses Skeleton Barrel or something like this. Just because we're using Cannoneer, that does get a little bit more difficult, obviously, with the spam. But we do have some decent counters to it, so I'm not feeling terrible about this. But I was going to say the one matchup where it's an not an insta-loss, but you know, you can get starting handed quite badly is against Sparky and Goblin Giant. If you go for a Mortar first play against that, it can be very, very bad for you. So whenever I see Dagger Duchess, that's when I just try to play a little bit more careful off the start. We are going to defend that push decently well, but I used a ton of elixir there, so I think I'm going to kind of slow down. And just remember that a lot of the times when we win with this deck, it's because we get a really good counter push. It's not because we went aggressive at the start. Ooh, that was really good. That was actually a really good prediction by him. I have to give credit where credit is due. So we are going to take a decent bandit dash there. And honestly, that sometimes is the difference between a win and a loss. So I have to, you know, I really have to lock in here and make sure that I play well. I'm cycling my Skeleton Barrel there just because it's so valuable to get to that Evil Skeleton Barrel. So that's why I wanted to play it, even though we probably aren't going to get any damage. And then I'll go for the Mortar here just to kind of keep the pressure up on him. I'm okay with the Mortar taking a little bit of damage. Because he played the Hunter up high, I'm going to go for a high cannon card here, especially because I know that I can counter the left side quite easily with a Skeleton King if I want to. So we'll just go for that, and then I'm not going to play anything else because I know that he's got Mega Knight in hand, and so that could be a pretty devastating push. He is going to go for the Battle Ram. As long as you get one hit on the Battle Ram, the Cannoneer will take it out fully. So that is good. Let's go ahead, let's pop the Skeleton King ability here again, just to keep the pressure up on him. I'll go for a Skeleton Barrel on this side as well, because the Dagger Duchess will be out of ammo. And then I'm thinking he might have to go for a Mega Knight to take out the Skeleton Barrel, so I'll go for the Mortar on this side, and then he wasn't able to Mega Knight, so we had to go for the Recruits, which wasn't a very good counter to that push. And then the Ice Wizard should take all of that out quite easily, so we'll have a pretty good trade there. And I'll go for the Skeleton King in the back here. We might as well slow roll it. And then I might go for an Evil Barrel on this side just because we have all of that going in. And then again, I'm gonna go for the Mortar on this side just to stop him from being able to play that Mega Knight. And the Skeleton King doesn't catch the Bandit, but that's okay. Let's go ahead, let's get a Goblin Gang going on this side here. And then he might go for a Mega Knight, so actually I'm gonna do something really risky here, and I'm gonna go for a Cannon card on this side. And then he will play the Recruits, so that's good. Again, we're stopping him from playing that Mega Knight as much as we can. The Skeleton King ability put some really good pressure on this guy, so that's good. There's the Mega Knight finally, so we'll have the Ice Wizard down on this side to help defend, and then I guess I'll go for the Cannon card here. And those bats aren't actually going to be that big of a deal. I was a little bit worried about them, but we should be okay. Let's get a Mortar right here to help out with that Battle Ram and just make sure that nothing crazy happens, and then we'll also have the Mortar for the counter push. I'm going to go for a Skeleton Barrel here because he used his arrows. He is going to play the Hunter, so that was well played, but it's pretty good just because we're keeping that pressure up on him. I'll go for the arrows there for just a bit of chip damage on the tower, and then maybe I'll go for a Goblin Gang to really keep the pressure up on him as the Dagger Duchess gets a little bit lower. Okay, and then I think I need to hold on to my Ice Wizard, so I will go for the Skeleton King here. If he goes for the Recruits in the back, then I can just kind of defensive Evil Mortar, and that should help us out quite a bit. I'm going to hold on to my... ooh, that's actually not good. Okay, hold up. I got to get this down here. We might take a bit of damage from that. That's okay, though. I think we should be okay, because now I can go for this, and then I can go ahead and let's get the Mortar down here. And then let's go ahead, let's get some arrows here as well onto the tower. And then the Mega Knight is going in, but I can just get the Cannon cart right here. Let's get a Goblin Gang down on this side, and then let's actually get the Ice Wizard down here as well, just to make sure that we're safe. Let's get a Skeleton Barrel going in here on this side. Let's get a Skeleton King going as well. And then let's get another Mortar just to keep that pressure up on this guy. Let's go ahead, let's get the arrows off, and then let's pop the Skeleton King ability, and that will be a win. He got lots of damage with the Battle Ram, but we were able to get that counter push, and let's go on into the next one. Alright guys, so for our last matchup, I wanted to show you guys a bit of a replay here, because I feel like we honestly played this matchup almost perfectly, and you know, you don't really get that in top ladder very often, so I think this is a pretty valuable matchup to show you guys. And we are up against Recruits with Royal Hogs, which is totally a difficult matchup. It is one of my least favorite matchups to go up against, other than you know, a golem deck that uses E-Drag. So just something a little bit interesting to kind of go up against here. Now, he's going to go for the Recruits here, and him playing them at the bridge was a total mistake. That was way too aggressive, and that's really easy for me to defend it. So you'll see here, I'm playing in the middle, and then the reason why I do that is because I want to get as much value as I can out of the Ice Wizard and the Skeleton King. He did hit me with the Fireball. I wasn't expecting that. But we had a really solid defense, and you're going to notice, like, it's not like right after I defended, I'm going to go for something, all right? I'm kind of getting my elixir back, and it's because I know that he can punish me a lot more than I can punish him, and that's usually how it is with this deck. You need to play a little bit slower, and you need to really figure out what your opponent has and figure out their rhythm before you start to punish them. So when I'm cycling, I'm literally just going for my Skeleton Barrel. Here he hits me with the Royal Hogs, and I'm like, dang, okay, that caught me off guard a little bit. So I just go for that defensive Mortar, and I didn't play it high, I played it low. That way, you know, I'm making sure that both Cannoneers are firing on it, and I'm not taking too much damage, and it's just overall a solid defense. And he's gonna go for the Flying Machine there, super annoying, and you know, I'm just gonna accept that my cannon cart's going down. I'm not gonna try to keep it alive because I know that cannon cart isn't super difficult to counter on its own, so it's not like taking out a Flying Machine is going to necessarily make my cannon cart super valuable. And then because he went for the Golden Knight, I made not a mistake by playing my Skeleton King in the very back there, but it wasn't the greatest timing for that, so I did have to play my Ice Wizard up high, but we will defend completely fine. And because he went for the cage here, I wanted to go for my Evil Mortar, because I know that when your Mortar locks onto a cage, if you take out the cage, the Mortar locks onto the tower right after. So you'll see here, I got the Mortar lock because I got the Mortar down in time, and that is an amazing thing that you 100% should try to practice if you're ever up against Goblin Cage, is, you know, as soon as it goes down, your Mortar changes to the tower. It doesn't lock onto the Brawler. So we have this Mortar lock here, and I'm trying to defend it as much as I can, but he is going to play the Recruits, so I need to just accept the fact that it's gone. You know, I'm defending the Mortar as much as I can when I'm able to, but then I'm not able to anymore. So I'm going to defend, and I'm defending in the middle, pulling everything, making sure that Flying Machine doesn't get any damage, and I have the cannon cart here for a bit of a counter push, which is awesome. So I go for the Mortar again, because that makes it a lot more difficult to counter, and I'm going to really rely on my Skeleton Barrels here, especially because he played that Golden Knight into the opposite lane. I know that he has to use his spell on it, so it just works out a little bit better for us. And then unfortunately we don't get the skeleton hit there. That would have been great if we did, but we don't end up getting lucky with it. Now I go for my Goblin Gang. Freaking annoying Flying Machine again is in a spot where it's not taking damage from my tower. Can't stand that card. But we defend here really well. He goes for the Royal Hogs, quite aggressive, and this time I go for the High Mortar because I want to pull towards my cannon cart, and I just want to keep the pressure up on this guy. Skeleton King for the splash damage to take all of this stuff out. We take a decent amount of damage here, but that's completely okay because I know that now, because he went in so aggressive, that I can start to go in aggressive. So we get all of the Skeleton Barrels down. We have the Goblins going in. He has to Fireball defensively, which I know is never going to be a good situation for him. Whenever they have to do that, that's usually when they're kind of lower on elixir or in a bad position. I pop the Skeleton King ability on this side, and we come out with the win. All because he went super aggressive. I get the counter push, and I get the win. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope this helped out, and I cannot wait to see you guys in the next one.